Thank you for having me.
And as we go into this discussion, I want to kind of just preference this whole discussion tonight. I was one of those skeptical persons at first. I still remember when everything started coming out with coronavirus and all that was happening, and people talking about job layoffs and government stimulus plans and all of those things. I was one of those that said, you know what? I'm going to try my best to just push through this. Even as a church, we're just going to push through this. We don't need anything. We're not going to ask for anything. And I appreciate, Steve, your boss, our friend, former banker, the late Herman Strickland. I was on a phone call with him Thursday evening before he passed away. And Herman really just spoke to my heart that, you know what, there's a lot of aid that is out there to help people. And so we need to do everything possible to take advantage of those things. And so I appreciate Herman for making me a believer and all of that. So we're going to get right into your questions. And Tracy, I know there's some that you're going to be asking, and some, Steve, that you're going to be asking as well. But I'll take the very first one. I thought this was an easy one. Is my money safe in the bank during this time? And I do want to say, yes, your money is safe. All of our accounts are FDI insured up to $250,000 per individual. And so it is secure. And also, let me just say this as well, because I know a lot of what we're going to be talking about as we relate to stimulus plan, as we relate to even our creditors. The question becomes, have you been adversely impacted by COVID-19? Now, let me see a virtual hand of everybody that has been impacted by COVID-19. I hope I'm seeing all of your hands right now, because guess what? You have been adversely impacted by COVID-19. African Americans are disproportionate in terms of the numbers that are getting infected. I know some of us are able to work from home. Others have been laid off. But whether you're working from home, whether you've been laid off, whether you still have your job, this has impacted all of us, whether directly or indirectly. So as we talk about these times to take advantage of every opportunity financially, understand that speaks to you. That really speaks to you. And so one of the questions that was asked, and Steve, I'll let you answer this question, but is it a good time to invest in individual stocks if you have a stable income?
Sure, that's a great question. One of the things we do here at Pinnacle, we have a great team of investment bankers that are available to schedule an appointment to answer any specific individual questions, investment questions, to meet the financial needs of the clients. So I would basically say reach out to one of our team members, or reach out to me and I can connect you in regards to that. Because if they're specific around the investment world, so we want to make sure they get the best advice.
All right. And especially, I know the stock market is going up and down at this time. I guess the old rule of thumb was what? Buy low, sell high. And I guess that would still be a good formula even at a time like this. Well, is it important to attack debt with snowball effect or to save during this time? Should I continue paying extra money to reduce and pay off debt, or save that extra money instead? And Tracy, you can probably piggyback on this, but I want to just encourage every last one of us, especially if your creditor is allowing opportunity for you to defer, for you to take some extra time to pay off your loans or to extend your payment out. I believe it's a great opportunity for you to take advantage of that and use that money to really save, because we don't know the long-term impact that this COVID-19 is going to have. My wife was sharing with me that the Spanish flu, it took them 2 years to get back to normalcy. That is what one report was saying concerning the 1918. And so if that is the case, you need to make sure, even if you're still working, even if your income is still coming in, take the opportunity to save, take the opportunity to stretch out those payments, and have that nest egg because we don't know how the future is going to be impacted. What do you say to that, Tracy?
Pastor, I agree with you 100%. I look at it as being extended grace by our creditors. So if your creditors are offering these deferments or these extensions, by all means, take advantage of it. Because again, we don't know how long this is going to last. And then too, once this is actually over, we don't know what type of financial implications that it can have on us. And then the next thing that I will also say is, even if you're still working and everything is fine, you just never know what your family members are encountering. So that money that you're saving, you may have to use that money to help a family member or a friend instead. So take that as grace from your creditor. So I agree 100%.
You know, we're already seeing family members that are having to bury multiple family members back to back. And so, yes, take the opportunity. I like that expression. Take that extended grace as an opportunity for you to save. And some of the creditors, now, and let me just encourage everyone to do this. So what that means is every last one of us need to reach out to our creditors. For many of us, it's simply going online to our creditors, to their homepage account. Many of them have all of the information right there on the spot. And I tell you, one of my creditors, it was just 3 simple questions on their front page. Yes, yes, yes. I hit it, submit. I got an email today that said, you know what, we're going to defer things for you for 3 months. So some of them are simple, others are asking you to, but everyone need to make sure that you're reaching out to your creditors, asking for that period of grace. How would COVID-19 affect the housing market? And so I decided to contact my favorite realtor, Jenny Holliday, good faithful member here at Brown, and Jeremy, her son as well. And Tracy, Steve, one of the things that they were telling me is, with everything that's going on now, the actual credit score that many of our lenders are wanting you to have has been actually raised from 640 to 680. And even in terms of the ratio, what they're saying is it's a great seller's market because the inventory is still low. People are still making loans. The interest rates are low as well. However, you need to make sure that you are in the best shape credit-wise. And I think, and so I think what they're simply saying is they're not doing a lot of risky loans at this time. And that's understandable, Tracy. What do you say?
Pastor, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely, because in the housing market and anything where you go to make a purchase, first, credit is key. So to make sure that your credit piece of that is to make sure that you have a stable and sound budget. Because the goal is to make sure that whatever that you're paying or whatever you're acquiring, you have the funds available to meet those financial obligations. So that's correct.
Well, Tracy, let me throw you another one that someone asked, and that was, do you think it's wise to continue to work for a company that has cut your pay by 25% because you're working from home, but you still have to travel different properties at times, and you still work while home because of job responsibility, just trying to view it from a company perspective as well as concerned about my own financial goals as an employee, looked at the fact that I still have a job. What do you say to a person like that? Is this the time to change jobs?
Or that's a great question. But what we also need to look at are the facts. So currently, with the unemployment rate now, this is the highest level that we've had since the Great Depression. So you're looking at, within the last 4 weeks, more than 22 million unemployment claims that have been filed. So I would strongly suggest to anyone, if you currently have a job and you're currently getting paid, even though they may have reduced your pay, but be thankful that you have a job. And now is not the time to jump ship. Now is the time to ride the wave and wave it out and be thankful that you do currently have an income, because with unemployment rates being as high as they are, now is not a good time to do that.
And if you are unemployed, the stimulus package addresses that. And so please make sure that you continue to go to all of I guess it's the state unemployment website would be the starting point for unemployment. I'm throwing that question out.
Absolutely, Pastor.
Okay. All right. Great. Lee.
And even on the unemployment side, with that stimulus under the CARES Act, they've extended an additional $600 for individuals that are filing for unemployment. So I've recently spoken to a couple of individuals that I know that are receiving unemployment now. And basically for a week, they're receiving about $835 per week based on this CARES stimulus plan. So by all means, I know there's a lot of claims out there, but I strongly encourage anyone, if they're currently laid off and need the unemployment, to by all means apply. Do apply, because the funds are there.
Our youngest son, Brandon, is a student there at Berkeley in Boston, Massachusetts, and he was laid off from his job as a waiter and took advantage of the unemployment, and sure enough, the extra is coming as well. So hey, I might need to borrow some money from Brandon during this time before it's all over with. Well, Lee, what is the best avenue for self-employed people to take at this time, especially in terms of the financial assistance? Because I know we got the payroll protection plan and other things.
Hey, Pat. Okay, Pat. So, yeah, right now, small businesses, self-employment, individuals, there's 4 avenues that they can utilize this time that the government is supporting, and our local government and local community organizations doing as well. The EIDL is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan through the VA as well. And generally that is utilized through disasters like hurricanes, tornadoes, and things of that nature, but they're extending it out around the COVID-19 pandemic as well. So that's one place that you can reach out to. That's up $1,000. Also, the payment protection program that is, as of just now, just ran out of money, the $349 billion that was made available to the small business community. So that is one thing, where they would take the average payroll of a company, of a employed group, times 2.5 of that average income on a monthly basis, and that would be the loan amount they can request. And prior to today, they could have possibly gotten that. So that's those 2 items there. The third one is the EDGE Foundation, EDGE group that's supported through Memphis and Shelby County. EDGE is the Economic Development Growth Engine. And that means small businesses in Shelby County and the Memphis area that needs support as well. And they apply for those other organizations to get the funds, or did apply and possibly didn't get them. So that's the third deal. The other one is the city of Memphis has just announced a microloan, which is really to support the hard-hit communities and the lower the communities that support the areas that are hard hit. And that can be up to $10,000 as well. So those 4, and they have on their way to look up the details involved. For the EDGE Foundation, they have a specific website that they have. The stuff has one that says microloan is the attachment piece. So that was 4 specific programs that could really help a self-employed or small business pull out.
And I'm going to mention those again, Lee. You kind of broke up on us, but I'm going to mention those again. So Lee mentioned 4 opportunities that you can check out. 1, the payroll protection plan. Also that EIDL as well as the EDGE program and the micro, the city of Memphis, the micro loan. So some great opportunities from the federal level, even through the small business that you can take advantage of during this time. All right. Now, Tracy, with the Federal Reserve dropping interest rates, is this a good time to refinance a mortgage to a 15-year fixed rate?
Pastor Orr, what I would strongly recommend, but there are several factors that we all need to, the individuals need to consider. One is credit, to make sure again that their credit score is as high as they could possibly get it. And then two, their budget, because if you refinance your mortgage to a 15-year rate term, what you will be looking at is a higher payment. So the thing that you need to look at is what implication would this higher payment have on your current budget to see if you will be able to sustain with having a higher mortgage during this time.
All right, great. And so everything, a lot of things is going to be driven by your budget, your financial, and everyone's financial situation is going to be different during this time. But again, you need to make sure that you're staying on top of your own financial situation. Again, there's several questions about should we be paying off credit cards, etc. now. And again, our take is no, this is a time to save, take advantage of all of the relief that credit cards are offering. There are even some credit card companies that are giving you opportunities to extend your payment out, giving you that grace period. Take advantage of all of that so that you can save, because again, we don't know the long-term effect that this is going to have. With 22 million, Tracy mentioned, that have already filed for unemployment, we don't know what other sectors of our economy may be affected before all of this is over with. And so even those that are having jobs right now, your job may very well be affected in the future. So as much as you can save, as much as you can put to the side, get on a budget and make sure that you're taking advantage of all of the credit opportunities, grace periods that are out there. Lee, what are some investments that can be made during this time for individuals who may have extra money? For some who, and the person that asked this even mentioned about the stimulus money, and talk a little bit about that stimulus money as well, because I know this week a lot of the stimulus money was starting to hit bank account. Now I must confess, the pastors was all thinking, hey, is the tithes and offering going to be going up this weekend because of the stimulus money that was hitting bank accounts? Well, that's a joke, y'all. Okay, but so talk to us a little bit about, you know, the stimulus money. Is this a time to do some investments, and perhaps how can they, especially for those who didn't file last year, how can they make sure that they can get advantage of this, take advantage of the stimulus? All right, Lee.
Steve.
Oh.
Steve.
This is Steve. But one of the things that we basically, you know, try to talk about in regard to, you know, once the client meets with the investment banker and really outline and understand exactly what fits their needs, I think at that point they put together a plan and a project of little miniature milestones that need to reach within a certain time period before they move forward. So I would encourage any of the members and clients to kind of reach out to our investment team, that they can give a little bit more specific guidance in that area.
All right. And
thank you for that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Steve. Look, and then on that stimulus plan, again, if you filed last year, if you filed your taxes last year, depending upon how did you file and what dependents you were filing, they are given $1,200 per adult, $500 per dependent that was filed. Many people began to receive that stimulus money even on this week. Are you able, and Tracy, you might answer this as well, are you able to go back and file if you didn't file in 2018 in order to, or 2018 in order to get that?
As far as going back, being retroactive, there's a case that has already been. So in the event that someone does that, then it may take longer for them to get that money if they get it. But based on the stimulus package, it is based on individuals that make up to $75,000. So now for someone that makes over $75,000, then it is reduced by 5% up to $99,000. So if someone makes $99,000 or above, then unfortunately they're ineligible to receive any stimulus money.
Now,
and that's one thing that a lot of people need to consider as well.
Okay, so they're getting,
and that's on an individual filing.
So they're getting stimulus money now based upon last year. Next year, when they file their taxes in 2021 for 2020, are they going to have to claim the money that they're receiving now as income?
Well, Pastor Orr, to be honest, the federal government and ours, they're making changes daily in regards to this stimulus package. So what I would strongly suggest to someone is when it's time for them to file their 2020 taxes, to make sure that they consult with their accountant or their tax preparer to find the answer to those questions, because who knows, by then the federal government may have changed, made some additional decisions as well. We just don't know how all of the implications of this COVID-19 will all pan out.
Okay, all right. There was another question that was submitted. Is the church providing any assistance for those who are not working? What financial support is the church providing? Well, as always, here at Brown, we budgeted 10% of our income for missions and benevolence. So what that means is 10% of what comes in, we already kind of earmarked that to be given out for mission causes as well as benevolent causes. So as people give to missions, and that's that bucket that we have here at Brown, know that you are given to help those that have been affected by COVID and others. We've actually had some members who have given special offerings just for COVID-19. And next week, we actually have a virtual revival that, again, proceeds from that revival. And I appreciate Pastor Gina Stewart. Dr. Gina Stewart is going to be preaching that revival with us. But proceeds from that revival will be split between Brown and Christ Missionary Baptist Church so that we can have funds for COVID-19. But here's what I'm asking people to do on the front end. With everything that we have talked about in terms of the extended grace from your creditors, the unemployment with the extra additional $600 that people are given for the unemployment. With all that is out there, we would love for you to take full advantage of the available resources right now. Because just like your household, let me say for the church household, we have taken a hit. Those 22 million individuals that are now unemployed, some 15 or 20%. Think about in every local church have individuals that have been displaced, that are no longer bringing an income in. Their tithes and offering is going to be affected. As a result, the church's bottom line is going to be affected at this time. So I would encourage you, take full advantage of available resources, but know that the church is here. There is a way that you can make requests to the church, and by all means, as we state all the time, if you dial our church number 662-342-6407, we'll help you along those lines. But take full advantage of the available resources. and this is for across the board, before you begin to go to your individual churches, because most of our churches are suffering at this time as well. Tracy, I don't know if you want to say something along those lines, especially since you're the comptroller here at Brown.
Yes, sir, Pastor Orr. I totally agree with you 100%. But there's two more things that I would actually like to touch on and to enlighten people on, to make them aware of too. During this time when some of us are safe at home, what I would strongly suggest you to do, if you currently don't have a budget, by all means take the time to make out a budget for your family, because one thing that a lot of us are finding out now, that we're actually spending less money. So that tells us that we could actually work with less. Okay. So I would encourage you to take the time to review your DirecTV bill, your cable bill, to see what you can do to cut back on your budget. And then the second thing I would like to also point out too is, while some of us have a lot of time on their hands, some do, some don't. But I would encourage you to take the time to pull your credit, because there are a lot of scams that are going on, because the unfortunate thing, that's rampant. So take the time to pull your credit, and you could go for free. You can go to annualcreditreport.com, and they will give you all three of your credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, and make sure that everything that's on your credit is accurate. And if you find something that's not accurate, then you have the opportunity to dispute it, and that's something that can be done for free. And by all means, if you need help with the budget, I actually have an Excel spreadsheet that I can email over to you. And once you pull your credit, if you need assistance with filing disputes, I can assist you with that as well. So I'm available.
Amen.
Amen. To do that. Thank you.
And so, by all means, and I know someone just texted me that we're having some kind of difficulties with our live stream that's kind of cutting in and out. But I appreciate that, Tracy, because that was one of the questions: how do I save money even with the unemployment funds coming in? As Tracy have stated, this is a perfect time to get on a budget. If you're not cutting coupons, cut coupons. Many of us are having to, hey, we're having to cook more at home. And I must say, though, I'm still trying my best to support all of our family restaurants to try to keep them open and keep business going their way. So we still make those daily runs to Chick-fil-A and Naru to keep them open. But by all means, coupons, budget, working out those deferment with creditors. And Tracy, that was a good thing, that this is a perfect opportunity to pull your credit report. You have the time, go out there. And the wonderful thing is, most of these programs that we've already mentioned, especially with your creditors, your mortgage company, during this deferred time, they are not reporting any missed payments to the credit bureau. So the mere fact that you take advantage of all of this grace period will not affect your credit score. But make sure, especially on your mortgage company, because all of them are different in terms of what happens at the end, make sure you have that information. Will people on Social Security and disability get a check from the IRS in terms of the stimulus plan? I want to say, Tracy, and you can answer this as well, but I want to say, based upon how you filed last year, everyone, regardless of your circumstances, if you filed and you fell into that category, you will receive a stimulus check. Is that correct, Tracy?
Correct as well, Pastor Ward. That is correct.
All right. Well, great then. I don't know if there's any other questions that that we may have. Steve, I don't know if you have any lasting thing for us. Oh, Steve, I do have a lasting question for you. How do you think COVID-19 will impact the retirement pay for those who are receiving Social Security, state retirement benefits, and what do you suggest that we do to prepare for the possible loss of income?
Yeah, that's one of those questions I would to really come back to, once again, another group of investment bankers because, with retirement being such a delicate period in your life, and those funds of what you work for to build up, I just want to be very careful on how we kind of advise you. So we definitely want to put that in the hands of investment bankers, and Pinnacle has a group that really works very closely with the community, and I would suggest that we reach out to them.
All right.
And I could be the vehicle to get you to them. So, and I believe my information is on this meeting as well. So.
All right.
But I want to touch on a little bit what Tracy did mention in regards to the credit report and just kind of developing a budget. During the time of a pandemic or crisis like this, always remember cash is really the priority. Try to maintain your cash because you don't know how long this will take place, how long it will be in effect. So those are some of the uncertainty in that regard. So I would think anything you can do to defer payments or cut down payments or get some type of modifications, I think those are key. So good deal. Thank you, Tracy, for taking the lead on that.
And I appreciate all the members of Brown having my telephone number. Marcus Johnson sent me this. Auto insurance companies are offering discounts with the stay home provision, so call and inquire. So hey, even when it comes to your automobile insurance, make sure that you are taking advantage of that. Here's one other question, and that is, should I cash out a 401k and can I avoid the 10% penalty if I do? So 401k, that's above my pay grade. Tracy, Lee, Steve.
Yeah, I'll check. I mean, basically what I would say, I think I sound like a broken record, but I want to be very careful and cautious when we're talking about 401k and investment. We do have certified bankers on staff that can really lead the audience in the right direction. So I think that would be my recommendation to reach out to an investment banker if it's not Pinnacle, if whoever your local banker is, investment banker is. I would encourage you to seek them and try to get some type of plan in place and get so you have a vision to how you can get to where you want to go.
Great.
So I agree with 100% because when advising on investments like that, those individuals have to be licensed.
All right. Okay.
Whether it's a certified planner or a licensed investment banker, those individuals must be licensed for to advise.
And you faded out on me, Tracy, but yeah, so those individuals dealing with investments, 401k, all of those need to be licensed individuals. So contact Pinnacle. Steve is there. His information is there as well. And Lee is on my mind, Steve, because Lee sent me an email today. He's another one of our bankers saying that something that we were put in had been approved. So that's why that name is ringing in my head right now. And appreciate you, Rose Walters. Non-filers can receive the stimulus. You need to go to the irs.gov website. So even non-filers can receive the stimulus. Make sure that you're going to that irs.gov website. And even those who might need to be making to file their taxes, there are simple ways that you can file that the IRS is making available this year as well. Well, I appreciate you all joining us. Sorry for some of the sound technical difficulties that we have had, but get those questions in. We're going to make sure that we are updating. We're going to make sure that we are indeed updating our website, www.brownbaptist.org/update. Matter of fact, I got a email from the White House the other day, and I'll try to get with our creative services so we can get all of those links out there to you as well, so that all of us can take advantage of everything that is out there. So thank you so very much for joining us for this in terms of COVID-19 in our finances. Bottom line, there's a lot of programs that are out there. Take advantage of everything that is out there. Save your money, get on a budget, plan long term, for we know not how this COVID-19 is going to span out. One last thing that I want to give you, and that is help us, especially as African American, we need to help flatten this curve. The way that we can do that, one, practicing the social distancing. Practicing the social distance. Two, when you're out, wear a mask. Wear a mask. You go out the house, you're going to be around individuals, you wear a mask. Matter of fact, our policy here at Brown is everyone have to have a mask on as they enter the building. So you make sure that you are wearing those masks, practicing social distancing. Make sure that you are abiding by all of the CDC guidelines. And so this is not the time to throw that 50th party that you have been planning for the last 10 years. Look, you make sure that you're practicing that social distancing. And then testing is so important. Testing is so important. It has been up to this point only those that were showing symptoms, but we have several testing that are coming up in Memphis as well as here in the Mid-South that you can take a part of even if you're not showing symptoms, but that you feel like you need to be tested. So make sure that you are taking full advantage. Christ Community Health Services are offering this coming Friday in Hickory Hills, Saturday in Frazier, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. You can find this information out there on our social media. Church Alive will be using our main campus parking lot for drive-through testing as well. So let's do everything possible for us to flatten this curve so that we can get past this pandemic and get back to whatever the new norm is. God bless you. May God continue to keep you. And concerning our finances, continue to trust in the Lord, because as Stephanie Norvell's song said, there will be a brighter day ahead. May God